Hey guys, Randy here. This week we're talking about the controversial topic of moving to Idaho from California, 5 pros and cons. So stay tuned. Hey guys, like I said, I'm Randy. I'm with Next Home Treasure Valley. I'm a realtor here in the Mountain Home and Boise, Idaho areas. And this week we are talking about moving to Idaho from California. So the first pro that we're going to start with is the people here are super friendly. This is similar to what I talked about in the Mountain Home video, and that's because it's across the board, whether you're in Boise, Mountain Home, Twin Falls, Pocatello, Rexburg, Idaho Falls, and I'm assuming Coeur d'Alene. I haven't been up there, but I'm going to throw my assumption there. All across the board, people are super friendly. Idaho is just a great place to go out and meet people and to network. The con here is some people aren't quite as welcoming to Californians. I talked about this in a previous video. There's some people who just feel like Idaho is full, and that's fine. You know, it's up to them. They have their own perspective, but I will tell you, for every person to think that Idaho's full, another person is looking forward to you moving here, and the other people don't care either way. Like, you know, yeah, it's great, come up, have fun, live and let live. So you will find some people that aren't real big fans of Idaho or of Californians moving to Idaho, but they're not necessarily the majority. They might be louder than some people, but they're not necessarily the majority. And full disclosure, I am a Californian transplant. I came up in 2000. I've been here for 20 years, so I feel like I've lived half my life here. But I am from California, and I love both places, just to be honest. I went back to California a couple months back, and I loved it, but I was very happy to come back to Idaho. So pro number 2 is it can be a very slow, relaxing pace. It could be a place where you can just take your time and not stress about having to worry about being in traffic for 2 hours. And there is some traffic here, I'm not gonna lie, but it's nowhere near what you may be used to in California. The con would be that sometimes you might feel like it's a little too slow. You might feel like there's not enough going on to suit you. My brother, he loves coming up here from California to relax and, you know, just clear his mind. But then on the flip side, he is ready to go back. You know, he likes the hustle and everything that California has to offer. So that'll be something you might want to think about. Are you looking to just relax and be here? Maybe come up for the weekend and see how you feel and then decide for that. Or maybe make it a week or 2 weeks and then you can go from there. So the third pro is there's lots of outdoors things to do. There's camping, hunting, fishing, skiing. I talked about the Bruno Dunes. There's Twin Falls, the canyon. There's Shoshone Falls, which is right there by Twin Falls, which I will do a video on Shoshone Falls. I wish I had done it already because the water was so high. It's just beautiful. If you haven't seen Shoshone Falls, it's just a gorgeous place to hang out for the day. Twin Falls Canyon's gorgeous, but I mean, there's just so much to do. And that's just in the Boise area. That's not counting the rest of Idaho. You can never, like, if you are sitting here bored on a weekend and you can't think of anything to do, just go for a drive. You can go for a drive, pick a spot, Google it, state parks in Idaho, and you're gonna find a place within a short time that you can go to see some magnificent God's creation, if you will. Like, it's just absolutely a gorgeous state, and it's all in our backyard. It's really cool. The con would be that we don't have an ocean. I know that's really hard for Californians to leave behind, is we just don't have an ocean, but we do have lakes and rivers and streams and everything else, and they're not overpopulated usually, so you can actually go and with your family and friends and just relax and have a great time at the river or the lake. So pro number 4, the cost of living and housing is very affordable here compared to California. We talked about this in a previous video. The cost of living, depending on where you're coming from in California, can be extremely lower cost. Like in San Francisco, I always use that example just because there was literally $1 million difference between the median housing in San Francisco and in Boise. And that's just Boise. I mean, there's other places you can go to, like Mountain Home, and I say Mountain Home because I'm from there, but the cost of living difference can be huge. Some places probably not so much, but definitely it can be a big difference. The con there would be that the wages probably aren't quite as high as what you're used to. Some fields you probably won't even notice a difference. Like if you're coming here to work at Micron or HP, maybe that will carry over here. But we also are a federal minimum wage state. So a lot of the employment here in the Boise area is the call centers. So those usually start between $10 to $12 an hour. But there's a lot of other employment. So my thing would be just kind of Google it and see if the field you're into is something that Idaho has to offer, and if it's at a comparable rate or what have you. But remember, the cost of living is lower, so sometimes you can go with a lower income if you know your cost of living is less. So pro number 5, and this one I don't know if I talk about nearly enough, is the creative scene. I know I talked about Community Canvas and Mountain Home and Freak Alley and Boise a little bit, but that's just the tip of the iceberg. There's a big music scene in the Boise area. You have the Tree Fort Music Festival, and then what's closer to my heart was the movie scene. There's a big film community here in the Boise area. So if you've ever wanted to go into like acting, directing, editing, writing, whatever, there's probably a community that you can get into that will have your back on that and help you to do that. The con, I would say, and it's up to you how you feel about this, is we're not Hollywood. So most of the people here who are making movies are making passion projects. Sure, there's probably a few people that are making a living making movies, but I've made 2 feature films that we made just to make the film. So it all just depends on you. If you don't care about how much money you make from it, you're not looking for stardom necessarily, then maybe this is for you. Remember, Napoleon Dynamite was shot here in Idaho. It was in southeast Idaho, and I don't know anybody that was connected to the project, but it was shot in Idaho. I think it was casted in Salt Lake, but it was shot here in Idaho, and I'm sure that there was crew that was from Idaho. I know some different television channels are filming little shows here occasionally, and there is a film community if that's something that you're interested in, and that's something you can get tied into. So that's all I got this week. Thank you so much for hanging around. If you are looking for a free Treasure Valley guide or a relocation guide to the Treasure Valley, go to tvguide.randywrealestate.com and check out these videos here, and I kind of go over a little bit more information than what I talked about today. Thank you so much, and I'll see you next Friday.